What's going on, guys? Josh Betar here for From the Stands. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing why Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira is the better fight and it should not be Tom Aspinall in 2025. Now, I know there are probably going to be a lot of haters on this video because Tom Aspinall is clearly the interim heavyweight champion and he's deserved a shot at the undisputed title, I believe. In saying this, though, a lot of people are quick to forget Jon's resume. Not only Jon's resume, but we have a new generation of fans have never that never grew up watching Jon fight. If you are an 18, 20-year-old in your early 20s and you've been watching the UFC 5, 6 years, you've only been watching since 2018, 2019, really. I mean, I don't know many 13-year-olds that are watching the UFC. There are some, but the majority wouldn't be watching the UFC. I wouldn't think maybe the sport's growing, but the majority would be 18 and plus, I believe. And when you look at the sport and what Jon's done, the people that want to say Jon's ducking fights, um, I think are fans that never saw Jon's rise to become the light heavyweight champion and the most title defenses in UFC history, and the amount of times he actually defended the belt and who he defended the belt against.
G'day guys, Josh here for From the Stands, and I'm just here to interrupt this video quickly to let you guys know about the sponsor of today's video, TrainAid, and their Black Friday sale starting on November 18th. All From the Stands viewers will receive a massive 25% off store-wide on all subs and apparel. Use the code FTSBF and take advantage of this amazing offer. Head to trainaid.com or click the link in the description of this video.
Let's have a look at Jon's resume really quick. I mean, there's a reason why Jon is considered the greatest fighter of all time. It's pretty clear. We just because he's come out today saying he will not fight a guy in Tom Aspinall, and said that the fight between him and Alex Pereira is the fight that he would return for should he get through Stipe Miocic. I think it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. So let's quickly run through Jon's resume. For those of those new fans that don't know or haven't seen Jon, didn't grow up watching Jon, I'm one of those people. Alex, my co-host, he's one of those people that grew up watching Jon Jones fight. Mauricio Hua, Quinton Jackson, Lyoto Machida, Rashad Evans, Vitor Belfort, Chael Sonnen, Gustafsson, Teixeira, Daniel Cormier, Ovince St. Preux, Daniel Cormier, although it was a no contest and was overturned, we all saw what happened in that fight. Jones dominated and finished DC. Gustafsson again, Anthony Smith, Thiago Santos, Dominic Reyes, and then came back and defeated Cyril Gane for the heavyweight title. When people say that Jon Jones is scared of Tom Aspinall, it is the most ridiculous and casual thing you could say as an MMA fan. It is so incredibly incorrect and far off what the truth is. I mean, these are comments that have been left on various social media posts of Jon Jones's press conference today at the UFC 309 press conference, the media day. I'll clip them in here so you can see them. But basically, I mean, look at these ones. This is basically 4 minutes of Jon Jones explaining why he's ducking Aspinall. This dude's legacy is crumbling before our eyes. Could have just said, because I'm scared he will beat me and save us all the yapping. That's a lot of words to say I'm ducking. This is actually embarrassing. So these are the comments from these uneducated new fans that don't know what Jon Jones brought to the sport. And like I said at the start of this video, Tom Aspinall definitely deserves a shot at the title. And in my opinion, what I think will happen is that Tom will become the undisputed heavyweight champion, but I do not think he will fight Jon Jones, and I do not think Jon Jones will fight Tom Aspinall, and I don't think Jon Jones should fight Tom Aspinall. Jon came out today at the media day and said that it would do nothing for his legacy beating Tom, and I agree. It would do absolutely nothing. Tom Aspinall Tom Aspinall's been in the UFC 3 or 4 years now, and you look at what Alex Pereira's done in the 3 years since he's been in the UFC. Alex Pereira should fight Jon Jones. Jon Jones should fight Alex Pereira. That is the fight to make. It is the biggest super fight the UFC could put on next year or in any other year. I think this is the biggest super fight in UFC history. You've got a guy in Alex Pereira who has become the biggest star in the sport. He's leaped over Israel Adesanya, leaped over many guys who were considered the top draws in the company. He is now the biggest star the UFC can put forth in any capacity. Then you have a guy like Jon Jones, who is considered the greatest of all time, the greatest light heavyweight of all time, has a chance to beat the greatest heavyweight of all time in Stipe Miocic this weekend at UFC 309. It's a hard case to argue. If I'm a fan, if I'm a fan of the sport and legacy fights and what this fight would do for both fighters, and Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira is the fight to make. Now, would it be a close fight? I don't know. Alex Pereira and Jon Jones, like John said today, they walk around at a similar weight than what John walks around compared to Tom Aspinall. You know, they both sort of walk around at 230, 240. Him and Pereira. It would be an interesting fight. You've got John is the most well-rounded fighter of all time, can fight you in anywhere on the ground, on the feet. Look at his resume. You know, it's so vast with how many different ways he has to finish you. And then you have a guy like Alex Pereira who is literally on a tear and has made a case to be considered one of the greatest of all time in just 3 years. He's a double champion. He's beat Israel Adesanya, beat Sean Strickland, beat Jamal Hill, beat Yuri Prohashka, beat Khalil Roundtree, Jan Blachowicz. I mean, the guys he has beat, the amount of champions he's beat, the amount of former champions he has defeated is truly incredible. And if you look at where Alex Pereira is right now as a UFC light heavyweight champion, you'd have to put Jon Jones and then Alex Pereira as the two greatest light heavyweight champions we've ever seen. Um, and I think this is the fight to make. And like John said today, you either get no more fights out of me or you get one more fight out of me, and this is the fight that I want. And I think I know which I'd rather. I'd rather see Jon Jones take on Alex Pereira in the biggest super fight of all time and throw the BMF title in there. You know, John said today or the other day that he'll vacate the heavyweight title and they could fight for the BMF title, have a chance to become a not three division, but three belt champion. The BMF isn't really a division, although it's been, you know, sort of around that 170, 155. I don't know how you do it if you just introduce another BMF. So there's another BMF. I mean, the BMF's a bit of a weird system as it is. But whichever way you look at it, Pereira versus Jones is the biggest fight the UFC can put. And I mean, if you have, I mean, listen to what John said today about his, you know, these are his comments about what he said today about everyone saying that he's ducking Aspinall when he's never been offered a fight. He was contractually obligated to fight Stipe for the last year and a half, considering how long this fight has been signed for. He's not ducking Tom Aspinall.
I feel like narratives have been created that just truly aren't there. You can't duck a man that you were never scheduled to fight. It's like saying you got turned down by a girl who you never even hit on. You know what I'm saying? It's like me and Dana and Hunter have never sat down and talked about Tom Aspinall. He's never been on my radar. Never. I mean, just a moment ago, it was him and Sergey that was fighting, and Sergey could be in this position right now, and I would still be in the same place. I've beat people my whole career, and once I beat them, like the show just goes on. Like the France.
Had Jones never got injured last year, we would never be talking about this fight. We would never be talking about Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. Had Jones never tore his pec in the lead up to Madison Square Garden last November. It hasn't been a fight that has been eyed out by fans for years. It's something that's come up in the last 6 to 12 months. And it's not something I think the everyday fan wants. But the everyday fan would love to see Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira, and I think it is a fight that gets made. I think in 2025 we see Jon Jones, Alex Pereira in the middle of a UFC octagon, 5 rounds, and a main event that'll be the biggest super fight the UFC has ever seen. It has a chance to do the biggest gate, the biggest numbers that the UFC has ever done, bar the Sphere, which was obviously a high gate number due to how costly those tickets were. If you're a UFC fan, if you're a fan of Alex Pereira, if you're a fan of fighting in general, you want Jon Jones and Alex Pereira in the middle of a UFC octagon in 2025. And I'll give you the hot tip. I think we see it. I think we see it. Um, that is all for me today, guys. I appreciate you checking out this video. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Do you think we see Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall? Do we see Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira? Do we see Jon Jones retire and not fight either of them? Do we see Alex Pereira versus Tom Aspinall? What happens? There's a lot of different scenarios and ways you can go about it, but I think that's what we're. I think that's what we're on the collision course to see. Alex Pereira, Jon Jones, 2025, Jon's retirement fight. It all adds up. Thanks for checking out this video, guys. Much appreciated, and I'll catch you on the next one.